Well, ain't this some shit? Chinese theaters dropped 92% of Star Wars The Last Jedi screenings. Just 7 days after a disappointing opening weekend for Disney's blockbuster theaters in China have decided to pull the plug on the majority of showings, pulling 92% of the film's screenings. According to a report from Forbes, The Last Jedi went from showing on 34.5% of screens in China this week to just 2.6% this weekend. The poor performance of a Star Wars film overseas is unprecedented, but but blame can be placed on a couple of other films that have been dominant in China. And that's as much of the articles I'm going to read to you from comicbook.com. But this is legitimate laughter. This is the highlight of my night. And I had a great dinner and had a really productive day. But fuck, this is hilarious to me. Dropped to 2.6% of all screens in China. It just goes to show you how weak the force is in that part of the world. And I'm happy. You know, all these articles that were coming out prior to China's release was like, oh, wait till it comes out in China. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge in China. It's Star Wars. Everybody loves Star Wars. And now it's a fucking flop. Like we hear over at World Class Bullshit, they said, like, oh, the movie sucks, blah, blah, blah. But it ain't a financial flop. But in China, it's a legitimate fucking failure. And I love it. I absolutely... It's just funny, you know? I feel like Disney is so full of themselves. Oh, excuse me, Lucasfilm, which is owned by Disney, and all the mandates come from the top anyway. So don't try and tell me that Disney doesn't really run all the MCU movies. Yeah, Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios get their name on the film, but it's the Walt Disney Corporation that runs everything. But back to Star Wars, though. They think they're so great. They're riding on this high wave, and everyone's just going to bow down to them and their stupid movie. And not in China. China's got their shit together. Well, in terms of Star Wars, at least. This one's been brushed aside, so it'll be interesting if the next film pushes Rose and Asian characters, because we all know that it's not about the most qualified actors anymore. It's about cherry picking every person from the rainbow and having a black person and a white person and an Asian person. And it's not about representation. It's about how to market the film in a foreign country. Look at Iron Man 3. There's extra scenes filmed for that movie. Look at Rogue One. It had Donnie Yen and the other guy. And they were to appease this Asian market, to appeal to the Asian market. And it worked in that term, or in that sense, excuse me. But not this time. Rose Tico is just a stupid fucking character, and her sister's a stupid fucking joke of a character who got her own action figure but died in the first 2 minutes of the movie. We're talking like Crix Maydeen levels of like importance in terms of action figure presence. But I had to make this. I've never made a video so impromptu or impromptu or whatever the fucking word I want to use. There's no script for this shit. This is just genuine pleasure, and I'll post a link to the article in the video. But that's about it. This is awesome. This is just straight up hilarious to me. I don't know how else to spin it or how else to say it. If you could see my face right now, big smile. A good friend of the show, Joel Hastings, sent me this article, and I started laughing. I thought, hey, I gotta tell our fans. They gotta know. So, yeah, 92% drop in one weekend. Can it get to 0 for next weekend? Can there be no screens in China showing Star Wars? You never know. Paddington Bear's coming out. You know, Paddington Bear apparently is so much more important than Star Wars in China. So we'll find out. That was sarcasm, by the way. I don't know shit about Paddington Bear, except that I have a fridge magnet of him downstairs, but I don't think I've ever read one of the books. So that's neither here nor there. But tell me what you think of this story down in the comments section. It doesn't seem like a victory for people that don't like The Last Jedi, but it just goes to show you that the best marketing and planning in the world doesn't work when you don't have a presence and your story is horseshit. And the fact that they pirated it, probably, you know. I know the Chinese bootleg DVD market is giant, so why pay for an American movie when you can get it for free before it even hits your local cinemas? Don't blame them in that regard. They didn't really miss out on a big spectacle in terms of Star Wars grandiose filmmaking. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Share this video. Give it a thumbs up if you can. And If you haven't already, check out our Patreon page. 17 cents a day equals $5 a month, and you get all kinds of great access to cool content. You get to be on the show, digital posters, fun stuff. It's the best way to be a world-class Bullshitters fan. I'll be back tomorrow with a patron hangout that we made over the week, and it's a lot of fun. It's about Spider-Man, and it's one of the show's best friends. So thanks for watching. Enjoy your Friday night. Enjoy this monumentous occasion, the night that Star Wars failed. Oh, and one more thing. As I was gathering some images for this video so you wouldn't have to stare at a blank screen, I came across this article titled Star Wars: The Last Jedi Criticized in China for Insulting the IQ of the Audience. The article also goes on to say that the actors are ugly, and that's why Chinese people aren't going to see the film. The article actually is quoted as saying, if Will Smith played Finn, we would go see the movie because he's handsome. You could say that China is very superficial, or you could say that they see to this SJW bullshit and they don't want to watch ugly characters run around on screen. I mean, Fate of the Furious made a whole fuck ton of money, and you got Vin Diesel, The Rock, Michelle Rodriguez, Gal Gadot was in the other one, but you got these movies with beautiful people in quotation marks, and they're drawn to that. So maybe that's the secret of the Chinese audience, not putting Chinese actors in these films. It's just good-looking American people that they want to watch on screen. But here in America, it's sexist to want to look at somebody attractive on screen. If you're a woman, it's okay to see Thor with his shirt off, but if you're a dude and you watch Star Trek Into Darkness, and it's that scene where Alice Eve is in her underwear and bra, J.J. Abrams has to apologize for that. Now, J.J. Abrams has to apologize for a lot of things, but that scene isn't one of them. I mean, I'm a guy. It was a good scene. And shit like that would fly in China because that's what they want. They don't want SJW Star Wars. They don't need, body diversity among their heroes. They don't need all this stupid shit that American journalism, again in quotation marks, harps on. So this is a big breakthrough day for all this bullshit. Thank you, China. You guys have made you produced some cool toys for us, minus the lead paint problems, but you also are going to keep Star Wars honest in the future. I'd be very hard-pressed to believe that Lucasfilm won't take these types of things into consideration with Episode 9, because, remember, the Chinese film market is this great untapped resource that everyone wants to get in on, and it's not working too well for some studios, like Disney, and Lucasfilm in this case, because Star Wars is all but gone from their country, and no one gives a shit about it. So, I'm going to have a link to both of these articles now, and I hope you find them as enjoyable as I do. It's great that Mary Sue and her buffoon friend and Rose Tico and all these other stupid characters that people don't like are failures in other countries. Now, are we going to get them in the next movie? We have to. It only makes sense that they just are there, unless it's like, oh, in the crawl, they all died on the way home to their own home planet or some shit like that. Like, unless they go the way of Poochie, which I would love to see, but it won't, we're going to be stuck with them. And Disney/Lucasfilm is going to be stuck with another failure in China. So, cool. And if that Rian Johnson trilogy gets made, which I would make a Duke's brother bet right now won't happen, because there's never been a Star Wars movie to have this kind of it's like a dumpster fire almost. Yes, it's made a lot of money in America, so much less, though, than the last one, The Force Awakens, even though Rogue One isn't, was more recently. It's not part of the saga. So it dropped huge from The Force Awakens, and you can't dispute that. What is it, like $200 or $300 million less? I'm not going to look it up right now. You can. That's what Google's for. But now it's a failure in other parts of the world. So Star Wars really needs to get their shit together. You can't pump out movies every 5 minutes. People just don't give a shit. You can't flood the market with crappy merchandise, because what happens is these stores buy it up, the consumers don't buy it, so then it gets clearanced deeply, and then people sometimes buy it. There's also poor distribution, so you can't find the stuff you want. You got these old white dudes on the internet that collect this shit and pay full price, but parents aren't going to buy their kids a $20 action figure of a guy in a beige-colored robe because it's boring when they could get their kid like 2 or 3 Ninja Turtles for that same price. So, from a financial stance, the Star Wars toys are just a waste of money. The movies are a waste of money. Kathleen Kennedy is a waste of time and money. Her stupid 6 out of 8 women that are on their story writing team are a waste of money. It's a waste of my time watching this movie. And I hope that you get entertainment out of its failures like I do. So this is honestly the honest... Well, why would I lie about this? But this is the honest to God goodbye. Thanks for watching. I'll be back later in the week.